Everybody here. Fingers,
Yeah.
Buster.
Yeah, but what is it we're doing again?
I told you before. We're doing Attack of the Cybermen.
Who's the bunny?
William Hartnell, the first Doctor.
Kushti.
But the first Doctor ain't in fucking Attack of the Cybermen.
That's why we gotta do time ram. Ram them together.
You can't do Time Ram without a TARDIS, or technically two of them.
Mickey the Fishnick one for a special. Only trouble is, it ain't got no keys.
How are we gonna get in then?
I've rigged up some jelly to the locking mechanism. It's all wired up to this detonator here. Fingers, if you'll do the honours.
Nice.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Time Ram. It's new. It's brand new. It's so new that I haven't got an explanation for how new it is.
What's the
You
brand?
guys?
What's the brand? You know, brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah, what's the brand? What did you just talk about? Brand new? New brand?
Brand new.
It should be new brand. Yeah.
Should be branded.
As new as Patrick McGowan in Ibsen's Brand.
Blimey. That's quite new. For
That's not new.
1959.
It's 1964 or something.
Yeah, it's new in it was new then.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, that's not new, that's old brand.
It's new as in revolutionary.
Go ahead, Time Ram.
Yes, my name is Paul Ferry, and joining me this evening, as usual, are Mr. Rupert Booth and Mr. Barry Williams.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, and if you don't know what Time Ram is about by now, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you been listening to the other ones? Why did you pick this one to start listening?
Yeah, that was foolish. That was really foolish. Just listen to a different one.
Yeah, don't listen to last week's.
No.
Don't listen to that one. Oh no.
This is the one
Yes.
in 3 weeks' time, though. The one in 3 weeks' time is amazing.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, the basis of Time Ram is that we randomly select an episode of Doctor Who from the very beginning, the classic series and the new series, and we randomly select a Doctor and we ram them together into some new weird hybrid creature.
Hey.
And this week we have Attack of the Cybermen, the Colin Baker classic. I'm doing the I'm not doing the quotation fingers, but if you could see me, I would be, which I'm not doing them anyway.
I can see you, and you're not doing
them. Bollocks. No, I'm not doing them.
You could be a prime minister with that kind of lying thing.
That's how lazy I am. I just imply that I'm doing it. You don't have to do it anyway. Nobody can
Yeah,
see.
but that was a really long-winded way. That's not lazy. That's just using more words than me.
That's kind of, that's that high-level laziness where you're
all you
actually
had
putting
to
a lot of
say was-
effort into being lazy.
All you had to say was parentheses irony.
Yeah. I don't know what the numbers are. Does anybody know what the numbers are? I don't know.
One.
Yeah.
One.
Nav-
Yeah, one.
Nav, what's the
One.
other
The
one?
Doctor is definitely number one.
Done my
The
bit.
Cybermen is number something.
100 and...
Yeah. The thing is, we picked the numbers at the end of the previous episode, so unless we actually write them down, which none of us do.
Military precision, this podcast. I tell you, military. It's like Douglas Campion
It is,
is watching
yeah.
this going, I approve.
So this should be interesting.
Yeah.
Partner in Attack of the Cybermen.
Yeah, so straight away we've got an awful lot of Cyberman lore in their first story.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mm.
I'd like to suggest a variation to the time ram Ramage, which is that we all do a pitch as to where we think it should go, what story it replaces, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you both thought about that.
I thought about
You
it.
might put me at a slight advantage.
I kind of didn't
Right.
think about it, so I'm at a slight disadvantage. The only thing I thought about was it's one companion. What Hartnell stories have got one companion? As I can work it out, there's only two.
I didn't. I started with that, but let me get my notes.
Oh, he's got notes.
Yeah.
Maybe he has thought about this.
Yeah.
I think so. So here's my pitch. Then here's my pitch.
Okay.
I think this story replaces Planet of Giants.
Okay.
Opening of season 2.
Right.
Got the original crew there, right? Because there's an awful lot of plots in Attack of the Cybermen. Stratton and Bates. What the hell are they for? Who cares about them? What if that's Ian Barbara? Now you care. You give it the structure of the web planet, which whatever people say about it is actually really good for companions, apart from Vicky, because they actually, both Ian and Barbara are split up and have to go off and do their own stories all the way through. But yeah, so that's the gist of it.
I had an idea as well.
You got notes? Because I'm showing you. Look,
I haven't got notes. No, I did.
Well, I'm saying.
I did it in my head.
Oh, could see.
Well, I was watching it, and it occurred to me that it's got
Inspector Jenks,
it's got Totter's Lane in it, and it's got the junkyard.
Yeah,
and I thought, well, you could do it instead of an unearthly child. So you've got the introduction to the TARDIS and all that. You could do the first episode, quite like the first episode as it stands, and then instead of 3 episodes of cavemen, you end up going to Telos and finding out about the stories of the Cybermen that won't happen for another 50 years.
Tricky, interesting, but tricky.
You see, the trouble is, I was looking at it. I was looking at it as a writer, Baz.
So was I.
I'm going, there's far too many plot strands already. Try and make them relevant rather than add a new one on top of introduce the entire series.
Well, it doesn't make that much. You would chuck out quite a lot of what's there, to be fair, but I don't think it makes
we're going to anyway.
a huge number of problems. So instead of 1 episode on Telos, you've got 3 episodes on Telos.
Well, Paul, the fact that you didn't think this through means you didn't get the deciding votes.
The best that I came up with was replacing the massacre because it only had one companion in it. But then you get the problem of having to introduce Dodo at the end of it, and I don't know how you would do that. I think, no disrespect, Baz, but I think I'd be more inclined to go for Roop's idea. I think it's too much hard work to make it an unearthly child.
Well, at least you get that junction in the middle of the story that you don't often get with Hartnell, where the TARDIS goes somewhere.
But you kind of want that at the end of episode 1, don't you? Like they originally had it. Yeah. Well, at the end of episode 1, it turns into an organ.
Oh yeah. I'll put it there. Oh yeah. It does turn into. That's the other reason for doing it. It's the TARDIS.
No, I actually really like that idea. The cliffhanger the original first episode of Doctor Who was the police box turns to an organ, and that's and thus the legend was born.
Yeah, it's kind of going back to Todder's Lane is something that they would definitely do these days, wouldn't they?
For all we know, it's going to start with Delta and the Bannermen.
Well, yeah.
William Hartnell, Delta and the Bannermen, the day after Kennedy was shot.
Well, that's true. The thing is, what we need to do though is any Doctor that comes up with a first story or a last story, that's got to be their first story or last story, hasn't it?
Yes, we could.
So you could have the first episode being like Time in the Rani or something, God forbid.
But Hartnell nobody ever regenerates into Hartnell. He just turns up, So
no.
He just starts, yeah. So I thought this gives you the opportunity to actually start in Todder's Lane with a fully functioning TARDIS and see where you go from there. Okay, fine. I'll let it go.
Oh, please be quiet.
It opens with a bunch of men with torches and yellow hats on, and they're walking through the sewers. And one of them points out that they've got more bulges than the antenatal clinic.
Yeah, that was a weird line.
Yeah.
There's some quite fun dialogue in this. Yeah. And then being the Colin Baker era, they all die.
Yes.
So next we cut to the Doctor.
So it's William Hartnell era, so they all die.
Yeah, that stuff in the sewers would probably actually look a lot better than it does.
I think it would look great. Yeah,
1980s color in black and
look
white.
at the invasion.
Yeah,
I think this is a really atmospheric opening, and opening season 2 as well. You're kind of going, hang on, this is not a contemporary sewer. These are people talking, contemporary. Wow, they're back home. It's a really good hook.
Okay, so the Doctor's working on the TARDIS. He's doing some repairs.
Oh, so I had an idea about this. My notes I was telling you about before that kind of peter out very shortly after this opener of season 2. The Doctor's fiddling with the TARDIS in the corridors, and he's trying to repair the directional circuit and get them home. That's that. There's your hook.
Yeah.
That's why he's doing all this stuff in the roundels and the corridors. And Ian's trying to help, and it's like the bit in the chase where he's fixing the visualizer, and Ian's trying to understand. He's going, "Oh bollocks!" I don't care. Trying to explain to you, shut up. In that way, the partner does.
Yeah, you get a nice long scene there between the two of them, wouldn't you? That'd be quite fun.
Yeah,
unlike the scene in the actual episode where Perry comes in, and I don't know if maybe she's too good an actress, but she is convincingly stressed and scared of the Doctor. To the point which I found slightly distressing. It's uncomfortable to watch.
It's looking back at that relationship with modern eyes,
it's not aged well. Isn't it? Yeah.
She's reacting to the stress of the situation by wearing these really dreadful clothes.
Well, there's that. I mean,
she's got a top on that's so tight you can almost read the label on her bra.
Let's assume that Ian isn't wearing that.
Yeah.
No. He'd be wearing a stripy blazer.
Babs might be. I don't know.
Yeah. So it does. I mean, the Colin Baker Perry relationship, it does seem vaguely abusive. I mean, obviously, in his first story, he physically attacks her, and after that, you can't really understand why she doesn't just say, "All right, drop me off at the nearest planet. I don't want you in my life anymore. Goodbye." But there she is.
It is really interesting. I mean, you can see what they were doing at the time. It was clear what they were doing. That they were going for a more abrasive relationship, something that's contrasted to Davison was to Tom Baker. But then nowadays you're looking for more contrition. By the end of the twin dilemma, you're looking for him to settle down and go, "Oh, right, that'll never happen again. Sorry," and all that sort of it. At least. It is. I found exactly the same thing watching it now. I haven't watched Attack of the Cybermen for a while, and you can clearly tell that what she's acting is anxiety to tie it into Twin Dilemma, which was unusually broken away from this season, just to reestablish that. But it does read completely differently now.
It's rather worrying. And he's shouting in her face, "Unstable!
Unstable!
Unstable!"
In all fairness, so is Hartnell.
Yes.
And one thing I thought about this is looking at Colin Baker. I'm just going, none of his lines I've got any problem hearing with Hartnell doing.
Yeah.
Ian says one wrong thing and he's like, "Unstable! How dare you, sir?" And all that sort of thing. And off he goes on one. And Barbara comes in and gives him a soothing tincture.
Anyway, so the next scene is Lytton and Russell facing a joint with some thugs, and the thugs are called Griffiths and Payne. They're sat in the back of the car. They're all sat in the car, and it's quite a nice little bit of scene setting. There's sort of 80s dialogue and stuff going on. But then, unfortunately, after that, we come back to the Doctor and Perry, who clearly hate each other. At one point, he calls her an ungrateful wretch. And he's like, that's a bit strong. Yes. But they see Halley's Comet and they realise that it's 1985, which would be a bit of an issue for Ian and Barbara, wouldn't it?
I have to say, all that Halley's Comet stuff, though, is kind of just because that was happening in that year that it was broadcast. It's kind of, it's got no place in the plot.
Let's agree to lose Halley's Comet. Yeah, you get the scene. So who's playing Lytton? Who should we have from?
I had a thought, but I think he was probably too famous at that time. I thought Stanley Baker, but I think he was
quite a big name, wasn't he?
Probably very, very. He was a big name at that time. I think Zulu was.
I would be more likely someone like Bernard Kay, I would imagine. But
yeah, Bernard Kay's a good call. Bernard Kay's a really good call. Bernard Kay would be. Stanley Baker would actually totally, but you're totally right. He would be too expensive.
Yeah.
Bernard Kay. Yeah, right. Bernard Kay. Oh, Bernard Kay's Lytton's great. So Bernard K.'s Lytton, and they are in space year 9. So I was thinking about, do they materialize in 1964 as in Planet of Giants, or in 1985? And what would their version of 1985 be? And I thought it would be all kind of a bit, space year this, Lure X that. And then I thought, no, the 10th Planet shows 1996 as being basically exactly the same. Now, sure, 10th Planet's a military installation. People are in uniforms largely. I mean, but, the scientists aren't. They're in suits. So... apart from the car they're in is going to be a problem. So they probably wouldn't meet in the car. They'd meet in a coffee bar.
It'd be in some kind of flying car,
which would be it would be a weird kind of, it would be a bit futuristic.
Be like The Prisoner. There'd be in a mini boat.
I think it would kind of be a bit like Village. Something like that. It would be that vision of the future. Because it's 64, If they're sitting in a car outside a bank vault, they're going to be in a Morris Minor or something like that, which isn't going to be very 1986.
It'd be an interesting dilemma, wouldn't it, for Ian and Barbara? Because, I mean, they were prepared to go back in 1965.
No, leave it, drop it. I'm waiting for that. I've got my notes.
Fine. Carry on.
Honestly, my notes will run out. My notes will run out soon, and then it's free for all. But, yeah. So... Indeed, we'll get to see with it, and then the TARDIS. Well, I'm jumping ahead of the plot, but basically the TARDIS materializes on Earth, and my God, you've done it! It worked. You're fiddling around in the walls. We're back, and okay, well, and it's all There's no acrimony. It's all good. So it's kind of we'll stay for half an hour and have a swift half and say goodbye. And head off to a pub, and it gets really weird because as they go to the pub, they suddenly notice, are they colour televisions? What's going on? In the window of electricians, of rumbelows, and as they go on, there's more and more things that are making them go, oh no. And they get to the pub, and it will probably be a kind of weird automatic pint dispenser.
Ian goes 80p for a pint.
This is the first production block. David Whittaker's writing there. There's the pint machine. And there's a long screen with the pipe machine.
Mercury,
everyone's thinking Mercury. And the horrible realization of we're so close, because that's quite dramatic and fun. And the Doctor gives Ian a TARDIS magnet from the chase, a homing device, basically. So look, hey, if the TARDIS ever comes back to this time and place, then you'll know we're here. That I think was going to have plot relevance later on, but my notes didn't go any further than that.
Yeah.
So I might suddenly go, TARDIS magnet later.
I
might not, though. I might forget.
Yeah.
So does that work for you both as a kind of opener?
Yeah. I mean, I was just saying it would be an interesting dilemma for Ian and Barbara. I mean, would they be prepared to stay in 1985, or would they go with the Doctor and wait for the possible chance of getting back a bit nearer to 1963?
That was the end of episode whatever. When jumping ahead, but when they're all in the TARDIS and the Cybermen force them to go to Telos, and it's kind of the Doctor has to do it, or someone will get killed, and that's home gone bye. And again, a little dramatic beat, because once they dematerialize, they're never going to get that chance again.
We've been talking a little bit about 1985. And the TARDIS lands in Totter's Lane in a junkyard.
I've got to point out it's the 60s, so it's called Space Year 1985.
Yeah. And they emerge from the TARDIS. Perry's dressed for the occasion. It's great seeing her walking around a junkyard in the tiny shorts and high heels and a tiny top. So none of those problems with Ian and Barbara or Susan, I'm guessing at this point.
Susan. Yeah, we've got Susan there still.
Yeah. So they're tracking a signal, and they're being watched by some sinister policemen, which refers back to an earlier story, which probably hasn't been made yet.
Probably doesn't. Really
probably doesn't.
It'll refer to a later one. It'll be picked up as later.
When they do the prequel, there'll be the it'll be them.
I've realised, our version of Time Ram is the most beautifully interconnected, plot-driven version of Doctor Who there can be.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to pick everything up.
Yeah. At some point, they're going to have to get the same actors back 20 years later to play the same two policemen.
Yeah.
So,
all 50 years later. Which could be tricky.
This will be interesting.
This is the Hardened story. This is the beginning of season 2. So we're going quite far back now. This is our earliest story so far. Yeah. So this stuff all looks quite nice because it's shot on 35mm film in black and white. This all looks good.
Yeah, it is quite good in the actual episode. Actually, there's all this film stuff, and they sort of wander around, and they find Lytton's yard where they defeat the policeman.
Yeah.
That's Hartnell going for it. That's Hartnell being unrestrained. You know, that the actor for years afterwards complaining, he actually hit me with his stick several times.
A bit like that fight scene at the start of the Crusades. So William Ross will be there with his, judo moves or whatever, and then Hartnell with his stick.
Yes.
Barbara and Susan will be in the background somewhere.
Barbara and Susan in the background going, be careful.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the sewers, Lytton and his gang I think they're going to blast through a wall. I think the idea is they're going to blast into a safe or something.
Yeah.
I see no reason why we can't have a young Terry Malloy as one of them. He was acting then, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah.
I think so. I could be wrong.
4. Wow.
54? No, maybe not.
Brian Glover probably was. He
Glover
looked exactly the same for about 40 years.
He was this kind of hardened walnut that didn't change and then died.
Yeah.
That's the way I want to go.
Yeah.
Probably will.
So Payne goes back and gets killed fairly quickly on.
Yep.
They set to breaking this wall down. Griffiths is doing most of the work. He's the hard man. And then Cybermen turn up. And Cybermen. Yeah. I think Russell runs off at this point, but Lytton and Griffiths are captured, and Lytton parlays with the Cybermen.
So the Cybermen. Can we talk about the Cybermen? What are they going to look like? Because I mean,
they're going to have cloths on their heads.
Well, no, they're not going to be because that was Alexandra Tynan and this is Daphne Dare.
Oh.
Completely different designers, so they're not going to, from now on, we're kind of setting what the Cybermen look like. They may not even have handles on their ears. Do we need to go into this kind of detail? We don't, do we? It's just because I built Cybermen. You know I built Cybermen.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because Kit Pedler's not around at this point in the show's history to come up with the idea.
No, this is a David Whittaker. Oh, that Mercury.
Mercury Cybermen, yeah.
Who wrote this? Eric Saywood. How old is Eric Saywood? Is Eric Saywood like Andrew Smith? He's like 18 or something and writes this story of David Whittaker goes, fuck it, I'll have that. Cheers. I thought, but he wouldn't say that. David Whittaker wasn't that vulgar.
Yeah.
Really, you look at Photoshop.
I imagine Saywood, he was about in his 30s when he was working on the show, wasn't he? So I imagine he'd be 10 when this came out.
He's 10, so this brilliant 10-year-old written the story.
I'm guessing, I'm not sure when he was born. But,
music. Thing is, Planet of Giants is Dudley Simpson's first one.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we could actually have Dudley doing, the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Which we never get.
Yeah.
We don't.
Because the original's Malcolm Clark again, isn't it? He seems to be a running theme through some of these stories.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Oh, Malcolm.
He's doing his
Malcolm Clark.
In his corner, blowing into atomic bulk. You do not seem to take this seriously. So the Cybermen. Well, should we just say that the cloth ones? Should we just go with that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they're also really quite effective in this story.
Coming out the sewers.
The whole body horror bit.
Yeah. In the dark. Yeah.
But the thing is, with the cloth-faced ones, you could get away with them actually being killed or disabled by somebody shooting them with a gun.
That's true.
Which was kind of ridiculous with the 80s ones.
Yeah. They were puny in the 80s. They were weak.
Yeah.
Apart from an Earth Shock, where they were strong. But in the Five Doctors, they get twatted immediately.
Yeah.
The attacking Cybermen, people are shooting them, and it's going, "Oh, my tube's burst! Oh dear, I've fallen." And in Silver Nemesis, a girl wanders up with a bit of coin, and they go, "Oh dear," and run away.
Yeah.
The bit where they've got their silver detector in Silver Nemesis. So their gold. Sorry, their gold
Yeah,
detector.
gold.
They go gold.
Yeah,
Exactly,
run
away.
And they run away. As they're running away, one of them gets shot.
Yeah, it's not going to be David Banks either, is it?
No.
It's not. It's going to be
Reg Whitehead or whatever it was.
no. It's going to be Reg Whitehead, and it's going to be David Graham or Peter Hawkins. Peter Hawkins. Yeah,
Peter Hawkins. Yes.
Doing the voices.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually putting all that together. That's really scary. They're in the sewers. We've seen people being picked off by. Presumably, you'd see a hand come in, like in the Daleks, when it comes into Barbara. You see a hand come in and kill someone. It wouldn't be all video effects. It would be done by atmosphere only, and lighting and stuff. From point of view, I suppose. Yeah, and then you get these things striding towards you out of the dark of the sewers, kind of going, "Yeah, put down your guns, or you will be destroyed." Or something, and it's just weird as hell.
That could quite easily be the end of episode 1, really, couldn't it? So
could it?
I think when it was shown on UK Gold and split into 4, the ending was kind of when you first saw the Cybermen or something.
Oh, that was right. Yes. The American
only saw it once. Yeah.
So should we? Yeah, we should integrate the companions a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a companion should have been in danger at this point. I don't know why one of them goes down the sewer suddenly. My ankle's broken and falls down a sewer.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have gone down the sewer by this point, I think, the Doctor and Perry in the actual story, because they hear Griffith scream and they find Payne's body around this point.
Oh, well, they get separated. Right, it's like the Daleks, right? One of them gets separated and sitting there. So, like, it'll be Susan. Susan's wandered off.
Yeah.
Or Barbara. You imagine Barbara gets captured by Russell and she's doing her brave Barbara thing, when he's pointing the gun at her,
Barbara, I'll go with that. That's fine. Yep.
While he's threatening to open up her throat.
We might cut all that.
No, it's Barbara. It's 1964. He's lusting after her.
Yeah, he's going to be lusting.
Happening?
Yeah.
It's really grim, that line with the knife.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
There's a lot of grim. There's a lot of grim lines in Attack of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
There's something that Blake Seven wasn't doing 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. At the same time slot, just on a weekday. Yeah. But right. So has Barbara gone amiss? They've got separated from Barbara in the tunnels.
Yeah. Someone's got separated. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So we're back in the studio now. Everyone's in the studio.
Yeah.
And it looks really atmospheric. I think it looks great. If we're doing Planet of Giants, we've got Ray Cusick designing it.
Yeah.
So it's going to look good.
Yeah. He's doing effective tunnel set. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bit of business there where I think Perry's picked up this gun from one of the policemen. Russell takes it off her. Now he's threatening them with a gun, and then eventually they get the gun back again.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor tells her to shoot him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which she kind of hesitates over, and then he kind of goes, "Oh, it was all a bit of business." But you're thinking, yeah, what if she just shot him straight away?
Hartnell would say, "Shoot him. Shoot him in the face."
When I was watching that, I totally saw Hartnell and Barbara actually. You're right. Doing this, and they do it as that bit of opening of season 2. Yeah, we're a team. So Hartnell does it, and she goes, "All right," and stands there and sort of levels the gun, like hard Barbara. And he cracks, and Hartnell goes, "Of course we wouldn't do it, fool." And then whacked him with his stick again and again and again.
Oh,
terrifying hate frenzy.
Hartnell bludgeons him to death. Okay.
I told you to shoot him.
You made me do that.
Barbara's all, "How dare you, you stupid old man." And, great drama.
Meanwhile, Lytton's talking to the Cybermen. We learn that he comes from Riften 5.
And not Fulham.
Yeah.
And I think we also see...
Have we settled on being Brian Glover with him then? Young Brian Glover.
Was Brian Glover working in 1964?
Was he ever young? He was probably a wrestler then.
Was he? Oh.
Yeah.
Because he was a former wrestler, wasn't he?
Well, in that case, he's Sonny Caldinez.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd work. Yeah. Yeah.
With a Yorkshire accent.
Okay, so we've got Sonny Caldinez there, who's probably bigger than most of the Cybermen.
Was that guy? There's the guy in the Smugglers that I always get him mixed up with. What was his name?
Gaptooth.
No.
That's twice Gaptooth's been mentioned in Time Ram, though. Both by me. I'm pushing Gaptooth. Gaptooth Adventures. Great.
That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I'm just looking at Brian Glover. I need to know now.
Sure, Brian Glover's in Trial by Combat, which was a film which is like the late 60s, so he's definitely acting.
He was in Kes in 1969.
Oh, that's not good enough. No, we need it. Right, well, then
I think that might be his first role.
Sonny County Inez, then.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he'd be doing lines like that. Sounds like another insult, Mr. Litton. He wouldn't be doing lines. It made him silent. Like, that might make our lives easier.
Who's the guy in the Smugglers? I'm going to look it up now.
George Cooper. George
Cooper. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So,
I'll reluctantly give up Sonny Caldinez for that.
Okay. George Cooper. There we are. Right. So
I got Planet of Giants. I mean, I'm spent. I'm good. My notes are done.
So we start getting scenes on Telos. We see the Fat Controller.
We do.
Or the Cyber Controller. And also Bates and Stratton.
Yeah, Bates and Stratton. What are they for?
I don't know.
What the fuck are they for?
What are they for? It's like
you see, I thought at one point we replaced Bates and Stratton with Ian and Barbara.
Yeah.
And then I thought, and then they get brutally killed. So we'll not do that.
Well, they don't have to get brutally killed. It's very abrupt. But
maybe we should replace them with again the web planet structure. You know, if Ian is out on the surface and meets Bates, maybe, or Stratton. I don't know which one's which.
That's Master Bates and Mr. Stratton.
Why are they both exactly the same as Litton's lot, though? They're these Cockney wide boys, cybernetic. And when I was watching it, you know the bit in episode I think it's episode 1 where they nearly get the head and he's having a go at him, Bates, maybe, or Stratton, having a go at the other one, kind of going, "Why didn't you get the head?" And he went, "I panicked. I couldn't help but go to Monty Python."
Burma! Why'd you say Burma? I panicked.
The surface of Telos, which is the same, they actually shot in the same location as Tomb and the Cybermen. It does look the same.
And the Dominators.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's quite nice.
Gerard Cross Quarry, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. None of the rest of it looks the same, but that bit does.
Yeah.
And
I hope it's Gerard's relaxed quarry these days. I hope it's happier.
It's probably a housing estate by now.
Oh, I'll be happy then.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you say, there's this long involved plot line where they're trying to get the Cyberhead, and they kind of don't, and then they do, and then it's
right. And that works.
We could cut this. This is cuttable.
When Cyberheads are helmets, that works. When they're cloth things covering a human head, that's horrific.
I'd say cut all of this. Just cut it.
Yeah, because they're trying to find that head to get into cyber control.
Yeah.
They have this whole thing of them trying to get ahead to get into cyber control.
Yeah.
And then kind of Litton turns up out of a hole in the ground and they don't need the head.
They don't need the cyber head.
No.
So all that was for nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely for nothing. That's episode 2 lets a lot of things down.
Like a lot to do with Bates and Stratton, it's pointless. So yeah.
This is going to be a 3-part story. This is going to be like Planet of Giants. Actually, like Planet of Giants. There's too much stuff in it. There's nonsense. So we're cut it down to 3.
Yeah.
Well, Hartnell's story's a bit slower. I'd be right.
Yeah, but a lot of them make sense. More than it does.
Yeah. And then in 50 years' time, we can get John Guyler in to do the voices on the restored version.
I think what I'm saying, if we're sharing dialogue between Ian, Barbara, and Susan, we've probably got enough material for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Doctor overpowers Russell.
No, that's let me see this. Fuck you. Down, madam. Well, that bit. Gentle art of fisticuffs. The story of the Verd actor who he hit repeatedly.
No.
Oh, in the King of Mariners in episode 6, he has to club a Verd over the back of the head.
Oh.
On the rehearsal, he hit him, and the Verd actor said to the director, "Can you ask him just a bit gentler?" So on the second, on the camera rehearsal, he hit him harder. And just before the recording, the actor says, "Please ask him not to do that." And the actor then said on the third recording, on the actual recording, "I really saw stars."
Just went very messy.
So he's going to get in there. He's going to get stuck in.
There's a lot of untapped anger in Hartnell.
A lot of tapped anger in Hartnell. I mean, Christ. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
anyway,
a young actor is beaten on the ground and has to get up and carry on recording.
Almost immediately after this, he lances a Cyberman.
Because he's got a sonic lance, yes. And could this then be the Doctor's first ever sonic device?
Yeah. It's the odd one, the sonic lance, isn't it? It's kind of...
Yeah, it's the sonic screwdriver. But
the sonic screwdriver, yeah.
You know,
or he could just club him to death with his stick.
They just go, fuck you, I've got my blood up.
He's only got a cloth head. Yeah, he's
yeah, and it's getting more and more cloth by the second. Get in there, right in the gun where it hurts.
So what's Susan and Ian doing while this is going on?
Screaming, both of them with Doctor's terrifying bloodlust. Ian's weeping. Susan's hysterical, her ankles break. Just explode and she falls to the floor, It's
hobbling along on the bloody stumps.
I mean, thank God this one's missing. The audio is terrifying enough.
This would be the one where they cut episodes 1 and 2 for content. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just too violent. It's the most wanted missing footage in Who ever.
Hartnell pops up into shot covered in blood. Eyes popping.
There's interviews from The Woman in the 80s with William Russell and Jackie Hill going, "Oh no, we can't know that had to be cut. Sometimes things just go wrong, right? That's all I'm saying. Don't ask me that again. Go away now, all right?"
It was all right in the 60s. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
It was all right in the 60s,
Yeah.
But it was a children's slot, so it was excised.
We do have a slight issue here. Of course, in the actual scenes, the Doctor already knows Listen. He describes him as a man who looks like he might shoot his own mother to keep his trigger finger supple.
Yeah. He's not going to be saying that.
No.
Is he? He's going to be saying he's evil and he must be stopped.
Clubbed mercilessly to death.
Yeah. Ignore the corpse on the ground. That one's evil and must be stopped. Right?
That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
So things kind of get a bit hectic at this point. The cyber leader takes Lytton and Griffiths back to find the TARDIS, I think. They go straight to the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And the Doctor decides to bravely run away. That's what I recall. So he also goes back to the TARDIS, which turns out to be a bad idea.
He's crazy, man. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Doctor's gone. He's not there anymore.
Yeah. Perry says all these tunnels look the same, which is quite a nice little shout out. So they go back into the TARDIS. Russell kills a Cyberman, shoots it in the head. His head explodes.
Mm-hmm. That's horrible. Yep,
that's pretty bad. Yeah. And then
right in the head. Yeah.
Then Russell gets killed. And then the Cybermen are going to kill Perry. And they go destroy her. And that's the end of the episode.
Presumably that's
No.
Yeah, no.
They could just have a chorus of everybody in the room because there's a lot more of them now, all going, no.
No.
I'm gonna go, come on, motherfuckers.
No.
I said no. You had a different episode.
Where is everyone at this point?
They're all in the TARDIS.
They all go back to the TARDIS.
Everyone's in the TARDIS. That's fine. That works.
Yeah.
Okay, so all in the TARDIS, and Cybermen are being shot in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Phone calls are being made in the BBC at this point, going, just cancel this. What the fuck is going on? Shit. You told me the Daleks were coming back, Verity. Verity's just sitting there smoking a cigarette, going, "What the fuck are you going to do? It's going out of life."
So this is where you had your alternate episode ending in your notes, where they...
No, I didn't have an alternate episode. No. This is where it ran out. It ran out ages ago.
You said something about Ian and Barbara deciding whether to go with them or not.
That was later.
Oh, okay.
Oh no! Sorry, yeah, no, that was the vague idea. Where my notes were going to go is that this is the resolution to it, basically. It would end the way it would have to end, I suppose. I'm now making up as I go along. Is that the Doctor is going to be forced to take them all to Telos? But the reason I discarded it was it doesn't work because how the hell can he control the TARDIS?
Yeah.
I was thinking presumably the Cybermen have some kind of control over the TARDIS and they're able to work it. It's the only way you can do it, really.
Maybe his repairs. Maybe his repairs have had something to do with it.
We are in Time Ram rather screwed whenever in a pre-late Tom Maker story the TARDIS has to go anywhere deliberately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just abandon the TARDIS doesn't work. I mean, if that's the story we're being given at the beginning of season 2, then we can work the TARDIS sort of.
Yeah.
So that solves that problem. Good.
He doesn't go back to 1963 because he doesn't want
He doesn't want to. Yeah.
No, I can't operate the TARDIS, Chesterton.
Very complicated.
when they're all asleep in bed, he's going to 1963 and just kind of running around the TARDIS going,
yeah,
in 1963.
Going out and getting a paper from like the day after they left, moving it around and seeing if they notice.
Oh, it's just in the Cavern Club. Whoops.
And then if they do notice, he takes them to Zeros and like jumps to time track and goes, "Oh, it was a weird time thing, man. I don't know." Wow, wasn't that strange? Let's get baked. Yes. So, right, where are we?
Right. Okay. So, the Doctor bargains for it's Perry's life in the original, and this one's presumably I don't know Susan.
Ian, Barbara, and Susan. I mean, everyone who's there, everyone's in there. What the hell? We've got a lot.
Yeah. He's forced to take the TARDIS to Telos or not. We don't know. And
yes, because it's easier. But yes, I mean, where does the story go otherwise?
Indeed. Well, the Cybermen do have their own time vessel. Maybe they're all escaping the time vessel.
Yeah, that doesn't go anywhere at all. That's Stratton and Bates. That's
well, it's not anymore, is it? It's not Stratton and Bates anymore. So perhaps the Cybermen take them there in their time vessel, and then they come back to get to the TARDIS.
What?
The Cybermen have got their own time vessel.
They don't know how to work it, though. Do they have something? There's some stuff. Faith Brown says some stuff.
The time vessel is like Stratton and Bates. It's pointless. It
is like, why is it there? Yeah.
Why is it there? It doesn't do anything. Nothing happens with it. Stratton and Bates trying to get to it.
Yeah.
But their only story purpose is trying. They don't affect anything else, do they?
No.
Apart from they give Litton something to do before he gets captured.
That's it. I mean, the Doctor and Perry don't even meet them. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Which is disappointing. I remember even at the time thinking they're all going to meet up and go, "Oh, they're just dead." Oh, right, okay. And was old enough by that point to, yes, get the kind of shock value, but then afterwards go, "Well, hang on."
It doesn't add up to anything. Yeah.
So it's like episode 2. Like episode 2. Oh dear.
Yeah. It's like Eric Sayward got to a certain point and went, right, we're 40 minutes in, better stop it now. Just kill him.
Yes.
So
like we were saying about Flux, your function is finished now. Go away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same laziness, really.
Yeah.
Laziness in writing.
I have to say as well, having watched it again, that scene where Stratton and Bates die is dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's blocked out, because he goes to open the door, and because it's so he can get maximum electric shock, he kind of splays himself across the door. Yeah. Why would you touch the door like that?
It's a really.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. That scene smacks to me of a kind of, we've got 5 minutes before the light goes out.
Yeah.
You have to die now. Find a way to do it.
Just push your entire body against that electric door.
Yeah. And the effect's horrible as well. So, but we're jumping in.
We're getting slightly ahead of ourselves. So they're in the TARDIS. The Fat Controller's planning to destroy Telos for reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Right. No, we can't have that. Telos.
Yeah.
Change it to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Doctor kind of at length info dumps cyber history about Telos, Mondas, Cryons, all sorts of things. Really, I mean, he just goes on and on.
Terrible. Yeah, terrible. From word go, episode 2 is fucked.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's awful. But
It's a
we're doing a
terrible
3-parter, so we can just lose that completely.
Yeah.
So actually, we'll replace it with a scene, just presumably with Ian and Barbara beating Hartnell to a pulp, going, "For fuck's sake, we've been here for a year, and you could have done this all the time." And then Hartnell gets his hand up again and gets his stick out and go, "Why you?"
Yeah.
And the Cybermen are kind of going, "Jesus, we should get this machine. This lot are mad." Where are we up to? Her ankles have exploded now, so her shins are exploding.
Yeah, I mean, in the actual story, the Cybermen make the Doctor disconnect this signal that he sent out, and they make Perry put some clothes on. Then they land on TARDIS.
I bet Perry was really grateful to the Cybermen.
It's the only time she wears clothes during the Macron and Baker era, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So somebody thought, hang on, she's on an ice planet,
So I think we'd actually lose all, because the Doctor's sending a signal. What's the Time Lords?
Yeah, I think so.
Not beginning of season 2, he isn't.
No.
I lost track at that point, but yeah, probably.
Well, unless we start with episode 1 is William Hartnell's The War Games. Who knows? Vagaries of Time Ram. Actually, no, it would have to be his last story, wouldn't it?
God help us if we get
The regeneration story is, So
God help us if we get the deadly assassin in Hartnell. I mean, Christ.
Oh, dear. It'll be a good man goes to war all over again. I think we're having a kind of edge of destruction scene here. This is all about the mysteries of time travel. We've got to confront why the Doctor hasn't just done this before. And he's going, "My dear friend, I couldn't. Sometimes magic happens, and Mercury's involved. And look at the food machine, and then we're there."
Look, Ian, a kitten.
Yeah. or just simply, "Oh, you wouldn't understand, dear boy. You wouldn't. Time and relativity." And then we're there.
So are they in these tombs now? Then
Yeah, they land in the tombs. There's lots of scenes with sort of rogue Cybermen striding about.
And this is heady stuff. This is Cybermen's first story.
Yeah.
The beginning of season 2, the big epic Dalek invasion of Earth they have planned is nothing compared to this story. This is the one they remember.
Yeah.
This is the one that really cements Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Maybe referenced again in a later story called The Tomb of the Cybermen, starring David Tennant.
Who knows?
Who knows? So a Cyberman, a sort of rogue Cyberman attacks. Perry and Lytton, is it? Griffiths, they escape.
Mm-hmm.
So Perry runs into the Cryons.
What are Ian and Barbara doing?
Ian and Barbara. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they would also run off because they're taking on Stratton and Bates' role, aren't they?
Are they?
Are they?
Yes, they are. They're trying to get back to the machine.
Good.
Absolutely right, they are. Absolutely bloody right, they are. They're trying to get back to the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
So Ian decides to get a cyber head. Yeah.
Except, and Barbara hasn't got a crushy hand.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Yeah, presumably. Yeah. So the Doctor is the only one that's still with the Cybermen. They still got him because I don't know why he doesn't really run off, but he doesn't.
What would the Cryons look like in 64?
Doctor.
They probably would.
That style. I was thinking about it. I've always thought the Cryons are a bit reminiscent in performance style of the Doctor anyway.
Yeah.
So it's something like that.
It's weird. So they got some quite famous actresses playing these Cryons, and then you can't tell who any of them are.
Absolutely, J&T. Nice one. I don't understand that either. But there you are. And I mean, they're all quite nicely played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my God, they're wet considering their ice.
The only one you can recognise is Faith Brown on account of her enormous bosom.
Enormous. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Is she in this?
Yes, she plays Flast. The Doctor gets locked in with Flast.
Oh, no. Is she in the 64 version?
Oh, I see.
I don't know. She'd probably been around then, being quite a young.
Again, I'll have to Google her.
Median. Because she wasn't a spring chicken when she was in Attack of the Cybermen, I don't think.
Yeah, well, she was 20 in 1964.
Great. Faith Brown.
Yeah. She was a singer.
Oh, like Linda Barron.
Yeah. Her career doesn't seem to have started until the 1970s, which is a shame, but yeah.
It's started now.
The young Faith Brown.
Introducing Faith Brown.
Yeah.
As
Introducing
Flast.
as Flast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hartnell just can't get any of his lines right around here. I'm just saying. Haven't a clue.
This is the Doctor. Present time, the High Council of Cyborgs. Keeper of the legacy of Rassilon. Defender of the laws of time. Protector of Gallifrey.
So yeah, the Doctor is still being held by the Cybermen. He's locked up, as I was saying, with Flast, essentially played by a very young Faith Brown.
Right, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And they're locked in their sort of cold storage together. And that's where he spends most of the next 20 minutes. He doesn't really do much.
He'll be down with that. He'll be happy about that. I tell you what, these scenes are on a film. He's on holiday.
So Perry's with the Cryons. She gets to meet Threst or something like that.
So is that Susan?
Wrist. Susan. Susan meets two Cryons called Wrist and Varn.
Wrist.
Yeah, Wrist. I believe so, Wrist. Varn being played by Sarah Green in the 1985 version. Who's, I mean, I don't know where she was in 1965. But
or less, I don't know.
Yeah. She
might have just maybe like one.
She might have been a twinkle. Yeah.
Old casting.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the design, I don't mind the design of the Cryons. I think they're a good sort of old-fashioned style monster, but I don't like the fact that they're wearing heels. They're women. We've got to give them heels.
Massively long nails as well. They're very good.
Yeah. I think the big problem with them is the lenses where the eyes should be.
Yeah.
You're trying to do glass crystals, but if they just blended the masks in a bit, you get a lot more expression. Like I always say about masks.
Yeah,
but I mean, they're all right. They're very monopterous to me. They're with all the hand movements and the all that sort of it. They're very monopterous.
Yeah.
So that's why I said they're probably good. They're going to look like Sensorites, aren't they? They're going to look like female Sensorites.
Yeah.
They basically do look like female Sensorites.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they probably are. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to look much different.
No.
Yeah.
So Lytton and Griffiths meet Threst. I think it's her name, Threst. They're given a pile of diamonds, and they're told to go and get the time ship.
What the hell are Ian and Barbara?
Ian and Barbara are Stratton and Bates, so they meet up with Stratton and Bates. Who are
no, they don't. They are Stratton and Bates.
They are Stratton and Bates. So no,
Lytton
and Griffiths meet Ian and Barbara.
How did you get to the surface? Why are they there? What happened?
We cut the surface. We cut that bit. That'd be fine.
Well. Oh, okay. So right. So they're in cyber.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
They've got separated somehow.
Yeah.
That we're glossing over.
Yeah.
The waves.
But I mean, in the original episode, Lytton and Griffiths meet Bates and Stratton.
Yeah.
On the surface, and we learn that Bates and Stratton are sort of half cybernized. They're sort of rejects or something.
Have you noticed? Yeah. So can we talk about Bates's really small cyber hand?
Yeah, go for it.
What's going on with that prop? They built a hand which is like much smaller than a human hand.
It's got a baby hand.
He's got a tiny hand. Oh, terrifying. I'm going to crush you with it. Yeah, but your hand's tiny. I mean, really, you might be able to crush mine, but I've got a bigger hand, mate. What happened there?
One of the downsides of being a Cyberman. Yeah.
That doesn't have to be bad. It's a nice prop. Just the scale's wrong.
Yeah.
Unless it's meant to be scary and weird, but no. Anyway,
it's a very odd scene. Yeah.
Very odd scene. Yeah.
Eric
Sayward in writing.
It's interesting. Can we pinpoint the moment where Eric Sayward gives up? I mean, is it about 2 minutes into episode 2, or
episode 2?
Giving up during episode 1.
Yeah. He's probably just got Varos hitting his desk and like 3 other things, and Pip and Jade are just so one of Mark of the Rani, and it's so grandiloquent that he has to spend a lot of time on that. And he's like, oh, fuck it, just right, get the red wine out. One night, off we go.
He's got Ian Levine in one ear going, Cybermen.
He has. I bet he has. An old Mondas. He's just saying, puts the phone down, the phone rings again. Mondas, yes.
You've got to get Mondas right.
For anybody who doesn't know, there's some sort of confusion over who wrote Attack of the Cybermen. It's credited to Paula Moore, who was Eric Seward's girlfriend. Am I right?
Yeah.
Apparently so. Yeah.
But she didn't actually write any of it. It's kind of mostly him and partly Ian Levine. Is that right?
No. As far as I understand it, Eric Saward completely wrote the script.
Yeah.
Some ideas from Ian Levine, which JT was well behind. I think because of that, I don't know why Paul Moore gets credit. Actually,
he was writing Revelation of the Daleks.
Yeah.
So he couldn't take another credit. That's what it is, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's a way for Eric Sayer to write 2 scripts in a year and pretend that he is.
Yes, that
So,
yeah.
They're getting more explaining. Some more explaining goes on basically. Flaster's explaining to the Doctor the Cybermen's plan to save Mondas.
The original plan.
Yeah, the original planet in huge amounts of detail that we.
I think we should keep. I think we should keep the concept of Mondas.
Yeah.
One day we're going to be doing the 10th planet.
Mondas might turn up at some point. We never know.
Yeah.
As a Doctor's last story.
Yeah.
Mondas will turn up because the 10th planet is a fixed point in time.
Yeah.
That story is a regeneration story. We will be having that. It'll be someone's regeneration. So we'll keep Mondas, and it could be the most amazing callback ever.
Yeah, Peter Capaldi's last story,
or it could be Patrick Troughton
because he watched Attack of the Cybermen as a wee lad. He loved it so much.
So what's all that stuff about Mondas about?
That was a fantastic Peter Capaldi impersonation. It was remarkable.
No, it wasn't. Shut up.
No, it wasn't. Obviously, that was sarcasm.
It was more kind of Effie. Oh, me politics.
Cryons! I'm becoming an actor.
So we get the Cryons also explaining the plot to Perry. Various people explaining the plot to people. The Cybermen are planning to destroy Earth with Halley's Comet in 1985, which will stop Mondas blowing up in 1986. As I understand it, as a hardcore Who fan, that is what I've managed to work out from that.
That's good. No, that makes sense. That I think that's correct. Yeah.
Flast also points out to the Doctor that they've been locked in with Vastial, which is a massive explosive. So
massive explosive.
Yeah, the Cybermen
problem at the moment. Yep.
The Cybermen, it's a bit of a security nightmare, but they
almost starts hissing it.
Yeah, they've locked their prisoners in with enough explosive to blow up the base. So
but the Cybermen are thick because it's cold, so it's going to be all right, And they have no way. Well, no, because the Cybermen think they have no way of heating it up.
Yeah,
it's not entirely logical.
Yeah, and they haven't searched the Doctor, and they don't know he's got his sonic screwdriver on him.
Unless you put, you put a warm-blooded mammal in there for a start.
And
the Doctor's got his sonic lamps.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Or he could use his matches that he uses for smoking his pipe.
He uses matches.
He likes his pipe,
which you only ever see on one occasion.
Another Planet of the Giants connection. You see it beautifully. He's got a packet of matches. He gets his pipe out and kind of goes, "That's you. Fucking have that." Walk away, Says, "Yeah, motherfucker." Like a bag of so-say.
Meanwhile, Team Fucked, as I'm calling them, are going for the time ship. As on the way there, Lytton gets captured and pulled down by the Cybermen, who take him away and torture him for a bit.
Yeah, Lytton hasn't done much in this, has he? Because without the connection to the previous season's story, he means less.
It's hard to get a handle on him. Yeah.
But all right. He means, I was about to say he means about as much as Tyler, but actually no, Tyler means a lot more. The K character. Tyler identified with a lot more. So oh well. Let's hope Bernard K sold him well.
Yeah.
Considering what's going to happen.
Oh, it'd be maybe get some nice little scenes that we haven't had time to go into. But
what are Ian and Barbara doing?
Ian and Barbara with Team Fucked. So they're trying to get to the time ship.
So they can't get kind of electrocuted, obviously. So I would say that I would say that there's some kind of gas trap.
No, but that's fine. Because the time ship they're trying to get back to is the TARDIS. The TARDIS has been moved by this point.
Okay.
So what we have here is a scene where they're kind of going, "It's not here," and Barbara has a bit of a moment. A bit of a kind of, "I can't go on, Ian," and Ian's going, "Come on, Barbara, come on. We'll find it." and they damn well do because it's Ian and Barbara.
So as we say, I mean, in the original version, Team Fuck get to the electric door, and then they don't get any further, and it's massively disappointing. It's kind of
pointless.
It's the kind of pinnacle of their pointlessness, isn't it? Their entire story has been pointless.
Your story has no value whatsoever.
Your story is pointless, then you die.
You know, you gave us some minutes of runtime.
Thank you for your service. Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Yes, leave the script.
Joseph Williams.
Unfortunately, Ian and Barbara are still with us.
Yeah. They're all right. They make it. Griffiths perhaps not so
much.
This is
a trap. Ian and Barbara make it. A trap waiting for them. They evade at the last minute.
Yeah.
What the drama? You know, they don't fall into the trap because Ian and Barbara are not Bates and Stratton.
Well, you know, if there's a scene where Griffiths dies and Ian Barbara mourns over him, it's quite a nice little scene.
Yes,
you know?
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Carry on from there. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Who's playing Griffiths?
George Cooper.
You said you came up with something, didn't you?
George Cooper.
George Cooper. Oh, yeah. George Cooper dies and they mourn.
Yeah.
And it's kind of right. Come on.
Yeah.
Because these are children of the 40s.
Yeah, that's right. They've been for a war.
Carry on.
Yeah. So the Doctor escapes, leaving Flash to blow herself up.
Yep.
He meets.
But she gives him a bangle or something like that.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
You know, there's that moment where it's kind of like, oh, if only we were remotely the same temperature.
With a chest like yours, anything's possible. Yeah, so he meets up with Susan and the Cryons. There's a bit more violence.
I bet they released a single in 1965.
Eh?
They released a single in 1965, Susan and the Cryons.
So, the Doctor ambushes the Cybermen. Varn dies, I've identified. And then the Doctor and Perry say goodbye to Rost. Rost, that's a name.
Not Rost.
Yeah.
Not
Rost. Not wrist. Can't read my mind. Then they go to see the Fat Controller.
They
do. Why do they do that?
It's because Litton's been captured and he's in the process of being tortured. They kind of crush his hands.
That's right. Yeah.
As lots of blood comes out. It's very unpleasant.
And also the ship is there.
Yeah. I mean, it's
probably what's going on with Ian and Barbara. They're underneath now. They're in the.
They've got to be somewhere nearby, haven't they?
Like I said, they're going to burst up through the floor because I don't know. Ian can punch them off the floors.
I'm sure he can.
Or Barbara can.
Be a bit like the Daleks, where everybody who's kind of split up kind of
comes together,
meets up towards the climax of the.
And the Web Planet, same thing as the Web Planet.
Floor.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Web Planet early on. Notes.
You did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They all turn up in the Fat Controller's room, and they're too late to save Litton, but he's there. He's ready to fight the Fat Controller.
Yeah. Well, Hartnell and Susan are taken into cyber control.
Mm-hmm.
And Hartnell gets his stick out. Go right.
The red mist comes on.
The red mist comes down, and it all goes slow motion. Sam Peckinpah takes over from Mervyn Pinfield, and it's horrible. It's not nice. Not nice.
Please don't hit me again with that baseball bat.
This is the only story that was wiped on purpose.
It does get quite violent. Litton attacks the Fat Controller. The Fat Controller kills Litton, I think. The Doctor shoots the Fat Controller.
Mind you, there aren't any explosions and stuff. It's all people pointing cyber guns from the centre.
It is. It's kind of...
And people go, and fall over and smoke comes out of them a bit.
Yeah.
So what would probably actually happen in a Hartnell story is Hartnell would find some way of sort of earthing the Fat Controller to the machinery and all that.
Yeah.
And you'd get some sort of flash that would sort of white out the camera for a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he'd fall on the floor.
And then you'd get the homily of machines will never take the place of man and all that sort of stuff. And Susan would go, yes, grandfather. And then Ian and Barbara break through the floor, which would be like banging out for the last 20 minutes. Really hard. That's metal. Where have you been? Have you tried
heavy solid metal?
Like, it's fine. Look, we did better than dying, didn't we? Sorry, it was superfluous, but
so everyone's dead. They leave in the TARDIS. Cyber Control explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, the Doctor says, didn't go very well, did it? which is a fair assessment. So
well, they don't leave. I mean, they get back into the TARDIS, they dematerialize, and they're already on to the next story. The last thing is them landing.
Yeah. Hartnell says, "Our destiny is in the stars."
Beryllium or something. Where River Song's waiting, knowing our love. That's gonna happen. Yeah. So, all right, we explain.
Enspleenment.
Is it better or worse than the original? Well, episode 1 isn't better.
Yeah.
Episode 2 is a massive improvement.
Surprisingly, slightly more violent, which I didn't see coming.
Right. Yeah, Hartnell, you can never tell Hartnell. We might just someday he just goes.
That man's a loose cannon. Yeah.
When we picked this story and this Doctor, I thought, I can't see that working. But as I was watching it, I was thinking, yeah, this probably would work. And I think we've kind of had a joke about it, but we've kind of come up with a way where it would work.
Yeah.
So, I think it would be okay. It would be better than I initially thought that it would be.
I think there's nothing wrong character-wise. I mean, there's something wrong with it plot-wise, but that's not the fault of Time Ram.
Yeah. I mean, when I watched it again, I was surprised to find I quite enjoyed it. But the plot is just a mess. But there's quite nice dialogue in there. The Doctor and Perry relationship kind of settles down across the course of the story, which is a relief. And it's all right. It's not bad.
I liked it at the time. I like it now. Episode 2 is a mess, writing-wise. That's the big problem with it. Episode 1's great. There's a load of good stuff in episode 1. It builds up nicely. It uses the 45-minute running time very well. And then episode 2, there's too many plot lines. Really.
Yeah, it's a bit like Chibnall, isn't it? It's kind of a lot of plot lines that kind of just don't go anywhere.
Too many ideas. You've got kill your babies, kill Stratton and Bates, basically.
Earlier.
Do it at the beginning of the episode rather than at the very end, having just done nothing with them. So there we are, the first cyber story. The launch of season 2 of Doctor Who, and I think one of the things that cemented it as being a great success.
Yeah.
You want to know the numbers?
Yay.
Let's do it.
Well, the next.
So the Doctor is. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yes.
I'm listening.
Is our listener still there?
I'm not sure. He might have gone to the toilet. Hang on, give him a minute.
The Doctor is number 12. Ooh, Mr. Peter Capaldi. In story 135.
135. Interesting. Right.
Anthony Davison, Colin Baker.
I think probably Colin Baker, which is interesting. Let's have a look. 135. Talk amongst yourselves. And it is. Oh my god. Okay, you ready for this? It is The Caves of Androzani.
Oh, we've got regeneration.
Yeah, so that's got to be his regeneration. I can really see that working.
Foley's last story first. Wow. Yeah, I can see that working. Yeah, I can totally see that working. We shouldn't talk about it now.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. What we should do is encourage our listener, all one of them, to join us for the next exciting episode.
And listener, we're very pleased that you're there. Thank you, listener.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Please don't.
You've always been there for us, and we'll always be here from you.
To our listener, we say goodbye.
How many Nymon have you seen today?
Well, that was Time Ram. Thank you for listening. If you would like to get in touch with us, we can be found on Twitter. We also have a Facebook page and a website at timeram.com. I need to thank Ben Jones for providing our music. If you would like to support the production of Time Ram, please consider setting up a subscription at Patreon, where you can get all kinds of goodies, probably stickers and things, but not really stickers, but there should be stickers if it's a proper thing. Join us next time for, more of the same.
Right, Everybody here, fingers,
Yeah.
Buster.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What? Sorry.
That killed me.
Is it right?
It is my horse.
Useless shite. Yeah.
Yeah.
A random number of episodes of Doctor Who. That doesn't make any sense at all.
I thought you
does it?
A random number of episodes.
Yeah. I'll start again.
This is good pod.
I blame mental illness.
Yeah.
This is recording, isn't it? This will make
This
a
is where we're
fantastic
keep
outtake.
recording. All of this. Useless shite. Yeah.
Everyone remember Sat.1, the satellite channel that, you know, when you finish recording Doctor Who off UK Gold, you have a look at Sat.1.
Was that the German channel with the dirty films on?
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Doctor Who in a dirty film. That was the 90s.
And it gave really good test card too.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
That's what gets us going, you see. Yeah.
Look at the roundels on that.
Anyway, yes, this episode we're doing Attack of the Cybermen. No, I should explain. I'll cut that shit.
Put the fence back up. Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah.
Ooh. Ah. Keen wankers.